Hi everybody, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome back to the dining discussions. Today's article is called 𝗪𝗏𝗧𝗪. What's it about? Let's find out. 𝗪𝗏𝗧 in the Hebrew understanding is to be right, reciprocal to argue, to decide, justify or convict, to appoint, argue, chasten, convince.
You've seen us going through all this on the videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Correction, 𝗪𝗪𝗻, dispute, judge, maintain, plead, reason together, rebuke, reprover, surely in any wise. So that's 𝗪𝗏𝗧 in the Hebrew understanding. Scriptural understanding, Jeremiah 6. To whom shall I speak and give warning, so that they hear? See, their ear is uncircumcised. Their ear is uncircumcised, and they are unable to listen. See, the word of Yahuah is a reproach to them. They do not delight in it. That's interesting. Matthew 13. Because of this I speak to them in parables, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear. It's like one scripture reads straight on from the other. They do not delight in it, therefore I speak to them in parables, because seeing they do not see, hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. And in them the prophecy of Yeshayahu, it's Isaiah I think, in them the prophecy of Isaiah is completely Jeremiah. In them the prophecy of Jeremiah is completely concluded, which says, hearing you shall hear, and by no means understand.
Who's the scripture talking about, do you think?
Well, he was mainly talking to the Jews in that era. That's where most of his conversation.
So who do you think he's talking about?
The religious people? The Pharisees?
What was Yahusha's ministry? Who did he come for?
Said he came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So he came for the Jews first, but look how they treated him. Then he just flung open the doors.
Did you think it might have been worldly people?
In a way, yes.
I did before, I didn't this time, not today. I hadn't thought about it at all.
Well, if you hadn't thought about it all, who did you think it was for?
Yeah, I guess I probably thought he was talking to society.
You mean you're giving in?
Yeah, I thought why not?
You didn't want to get caught out.
Do something
before.
different today.
You knew. I see, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
So does that put a different slant on it?
It does now.
Well, it sounds like he's trying to tell people that it doesn't matter. You're going to go out and you're going to tell people this information, and they're going to hear it, but they're not going to hear it. They're going to see it, but they're not going to understand it. So it doesn't matter.
So he's talking about?
Belief.
Yeah, that's good, but who's he talking about?
Well, we can see now. He was talking to the Jews. He's talking to those who are supposed to be believers. If you want to look at
Who
today's
say they are.
Who say they are. Yeah. So he's saying to believers, they say they can hear and see, but they don't. They don't love his word, they don't delight in it, they say they do. It's actually a reproach to them.
So he's not talking about people in the world.
No.
Because he came, his ministry was for Yisrael,
Yeah.
a lost sheep.
Yeah.
And there are those that will and there are those that won't. Same as like he's in the assembly today, and he's separating sheep and goats.
Yeah. Hence the parables.
Wouldn't talk to them straight.
No.
because they wouldn't accept it.
Trying to catch him out. Hearing you shall hear and by no means understand, and seeing you shall see and by no means perceive. For the heart of the people has become thickened, and the ears are hard of hearing.
So what could he see?
Their behaviour, the state of their minds,
Their wickedness.
Yeah.
So how does this affect us today reading this?
Well, looking at people that are in Yahusha, there's a whole lot there that their hearts are hardened. They think they're okay. Everything they're doing, and they know the name, and they're in the fold, and they think that they're saved, they're delivered. But it says half of his people are going to be destroyed.
Which is the answer to everything. Because
What do you mean by that?
this is the answer to everything, because ever since I can remember, we've always been trying to convince people, that's the word, convince, going, we believe the same thing, why can't you see what I'm saying? Even back when it was circus, then it was Nazarene, then it was, we believe, we're both in Yahusha, why can't you see what I'm saying? We believe, this is Yisrael. So now we've come to a place where we see that you can't be in Yisrael if you're not immersed into Yahusha. Anybody else saying anything else is just, yeah, whatever.
So why would you want everyone to speak Hebrew and follow into the worship of the shadows?
Just some money in it.
And that's the dead end, that's where you stop. The money, you reckon? Jews love money, don't they?
Yeah, money and reputation and legacy and reputation.
They're trying to build a big forum, a big group, and it says that there are going to be few people.
So that's why Lou and Phyllis are trying to lead everybody down that path.
The more people you get, you might get somebody in who can, because you see the challenge you flick over and they're preaching and that one day there'll be Nazarene up there doing, no there won't. They'll be shut down in 5 minutes. You can't say the stuff, you can't tell the truth over the airwaves like that.
So that guy that drives all around the world or goes all around the world with a van and it's got Yahusha written all over it and blah, 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 blah. What good is he doing, do you think? Through the foolishness of preaching.
Well, getting the name out there, but then apart from that, that's about it.
I don't think Yahusha operates like that.
He's not, just by having the name, he's not actually giving them the truth.
Truth can only be received one-on-one through personal relationship. Not just Google Yahusha, like, it's just in head knowledge. It's
Let's have a tent meeting and a crusade.
That's it. Oh, but if you Google, if 1,000 people Google Yahusha and only one of them receives him, then it was worth it, yeah. You think Yahusha can't do that himself? Like, that one person could have heard him anyway. Anyway, it's mad.
Where are you up to?
Yeah, where are you up to? So their hearts are closed, their ears are closed, they can't hear, they can't see. Lest they should understand with their heart and turn back and I heal them. And that's not going to happen, he's saying. So,
Lest they what?
lest they turn back and I heal them. Lest they should understand with their heart and turn back and I heal them.
So that says that if you turn to Yahusha, you can get healed.
Yeah.
From?
Anything.
They can't hear you.
Anything. Physical, spiritual infirmity. Acts 28, and having appointed him a day, many came to him where he was staying, to whom he was explaining, earnestly witnessing about the reign of Yahuah, this is Paul, and persuading them concerning Yahusha from both the Torah of Moses and the prophets, from morning until evening. What's the point of that one? And having appointed him a day, many came to him where he was staying, to whom he was explaining, earnestly witnessing about the reign of Yahuah. persuading them concerning Yahusha from both the Torah and the prophets.
Because he was talking to those
Trying to convince people.
trying to convince.
Paul was.
Mm.
Well, they knew who he was and they came to him.
Mm.
He was living in a house and they came to him.
2 Corinthians 5, therefore, knowing the fear of Yahuah, we persuade men, but we have been made manifest to Yahuah. And I also trust in your consciences to have been manifested. Knowing therefore the fear of Yahuah, we persuade men, but we have been made manifest to Yahuah, and I also trust in your consciences to have been manifested. So, if you're going to open your mouth, open it. If you think you should shut up, you shut up. Whatever's going to be manifested. Is that how you think? No? That's how I see it.
Say it again. I didn't hear
If
you.
Yahusha tells you to open your mouth, you open it. If you're persuaded to open your mouth, open it. If you're persuaded to shut your mouth in a situation, shut it. I trust in your consciences to have been manifested. That's how I see it.
Yeah?
Knowing therefore the fear of Yahuah, we persuade men. Yeah. Obviously, in these last days, there are those who will be convinced and those who will not. At any rate, it does not take long to give the message of the good news of Mashiach. Within the body of believers today, there is much fighting and confusion going on. Yahusha said, judgment begins at the house of Yahuah. The sheep will be separated from the goats. This is why there is such unrest within the body today. The wheat has been planted with the weeds, and everyone is growing up, some to bear fruit, and some will bear none. The behaviour of the wise bride will manifest as she goes about her master's work. The revolution has started, the separation has started, and it is useless to try to convince the unconvincible. You can see and hear what they say back to you, and you know by their answers if they are genuine. That's a very clever way to operate, I think. The fact that it only takes 5 minutes to give the message to someone if they really wanted it. It's not hard to see if they're interested or not. If they're mocking you or if they're genuine. Or some are convinced and some are not convinced.
Well, that's pretty obvious when you look at online, when you look at Facebook today, when you're looking at all the different messages that come through on the groups of Messianics and Nazarene, and you can see all the confusion, the fighting. If you put something in there, if you comment, you get mowed down. And the way you're spoken to, the way you're treated, you just think, wow, I didn't mean that. I was just saying, you know, this is what this says, or just adding a comment.
Yeah.
And in that way, you can see, but then no one wants to see the real behaviour. No one wants to go through. It says that that's why his chosen are being judged first. So that's all about the behaviour, getting refined. Refining our and cleaning out and getting through all that. That's why we're being judged. That's why we go through so much compared to other people just sprouting off scriptures and they don't have any idea or any conceived idea of what to go through in the
context.
Yeah, in the context, and what Yahusha is saying, how he wants to clean us out and test us and prove, and we have to prove to him. So I just feel like I'm really excited going through all those tests and trials because I know Yahusha is judging his people first. He's chosen, he's judging first. And that's what I feel is happening.
Yep. Definitely.
Very much so. Yeah, you look at, even when you look at these groups that you're talking about, all they do is literally cherry pick scriptures.
Mm.
Yeah.
There's no context to it, there's no abstract understanding of what the actual meaning is, nothing. It's like, here you go.
And they hold the cherries out to the birdies wanting a bite.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
They want a bite. Get a bite off.
And then when you ask them, well, so what does that
What does
mean?
that mean? What do you mean?
They have absolutely no idea.
What do you want to say?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a blank.
We know what the scripture says. What do you want to say?
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
What do you get from that scripture that you just threw at me?
Yeah.
What do you pull out of that? I know what I can.
Mm.
But what do you get?
That's it.
And there's
They get angry at you.
none. Then they'll go and pull another scripture out and throw it at you.
Yeah.
Well, what's that got to do with the other scripture?
Well, that's where a few episodes ago we talked about the bubby talk. That's what I was saying about them.
That's right.
They don't know how to talk, so all they've got is their rattles to throw at you. They can't communicate.
Yep.
It's as far as they can go. But it's encouraging to see that if you do give the message to someone, you can see it's not our responsibility to strive and train and be responsible for everybody.
No, you can give them as much as you possibly can. It's their choice in the end as to whether they want to follow it up,
Yeah.
which means going through the narrow gate or head down the wide path.
Yeah.
It's all their choice. You can't make somebody do something that they don't want to do.
No.
You're wrong. Good.
Quite true.
Beauty.
Is it?
Want to add anything?
No.
Want to add anything, mate?
No, I'm fine.
All right.
You guys did very well.
Yeah.
Oh, good today.
All good today, mate. Yeah. That's a shorty one, isn't it? Fantastic.
Was. Woohoo!
See you later, brothers and sisters. Love you.
Bye.
Take care.